to go. And this one is a little close to home. It's a Welsh story. So all you Welsh speakers, if you're here, you can come and correct me on the pronunciations. No doubt which. The eagle of the alderwood had lived for many tens of years. His wife had died long ago. His many broods of children had grown up, flown away to raise children of their own. The eagle was old and the eagle was lonely. And one day he thought to himself, I will find myself a new wife. But then he thought to himself, but I do not want the trouble and the bother of raising any more squabbling broods of chicks. He said, if I find a wife, she too must be old like me. She too must be content to just sit quietly on a branch. Now, it did not take long until news arrived to him of the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe. Now, it seemed to the eagle that this might be a suitable wife, but the eagle knew that it was rude to ask an owl her age. And so he decided he would go and ask his friend, the stag of Fernieside Brae, the oldest creature he knew. And so the eagle took off. He flew over the broadleaf forests, down through the valleys, and up over the snow-capped mountains, until there he could see the brae, and there, standing next to a tree stump, was the stag itself. The eagle flew down and landed next to the tree stump. Now the eagle looked up and said to the stag, "Stag, tell me, how old is the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe?" "Will you see that tree stump there?" said the stag. "When I was young, I watched a little acorn fall right there. I watched as it grew into the biggest, broadest oak tree that I have ever seen in all my days. It grew for hundreds of years. And then for hundreds more years, I watched it die. I watched it fall, I watched it rot away until all that remains is that tree stump you see right there. Yet when that first little acorn fell, the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe was already very old. But if you want to know more, ask my friend, the salmon of Glynlifon, for she is older than I." The eagle thanked the stag and took off. The eagle flew over the broadleaf forests, down through the deep valleys, and up over the snow-capped mountains, until there it saw a meandering river. And there in the waters was the salmon itself. So the eagle of the alderwood flew down and landed on the bank. "Tell me, salmon, how old is the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe?" "I have a scale on my body for every year that I have lived, and I have an egg in my belly for every year that I have lived. But I tell you," she said, "when I was just a small fry, the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe was already very old. But if you want to know more, you should ask my friend, the Owl of Kilgree, for he is much older than I." And so the eagle of the alderwood thanked the salmon and took off. He flew over the broadleaf forests, down through the valleys, and up over those snow-capped mountains until there he saw, sitting on a rock, the little black ouzel with his yellow beak. An eagle landed by the ouzel's side. Tell me, Ouzel, said the eagle of the alderwood. How old is the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe? The Ouzel looked up, he said. You see that stone by your feet? Well, once upon a time that stone was a huge boulder. But every day of my life I have wiped my little beak against the edge of that boulder until now it has worn away down to nothing but that tiny pebble. But I tell you, when I first hatched from my egg, the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe was already very old. But if you want to know more, ask my friend the toad of Corsfodgno, because he is older than I. With that, the eagle thanked the Ouzel and took off. He flew over the broadleaf forests, down through the deep valleys, and up over the snow-capped mountains, until there before him was a swamp, and there in the middle of the swamp sat the toad. And so the eagle flew down and landed by the toad's side. Tell me, toad, how old is the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe? Now the toad looked up to the eagle, then looked up to the distance. You see those hills over there, with their heads in the clouds? Well, once upon a time, a huge hill bigger than that stood right where we are now. But slowly, slowly, I have eaten it away, taking just a mouthful of dust in my mouth each day, until all that remains is the swamp right here. But I tell you, when I was just a tadpole, the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe was already very old. With that news, the eagle of the alderwood was sure that the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe was old enough to be a suitable wife for him. And so he thanked the toad. And for one last time he took off. He flew over those broadleaf forests. He went down through the deep valleys and up over those snow-capped mountains. He flew around and around in the sky until there he saw another valley, a luscious green valley, a valley known as Cowlyd Coombe. And there, sitting on a branch, was an ancient owl. And that owl was very old indeed. And that owl too had been feeling very lonely. And so when the eagle landed beside her on the branch, she welcomed him. She welcomed his proposal of marriage. And I can tell you that there was never a happier or quieter wedding than that of the eagle of the alderwood and the Owl of Cowlyd Coombe.